Alrighty, what's up guys? Welcome to the Legion TD 3.45 F/G patch review. Alright, so we'll go through this quickly and just round down everything. Alright, general send splitting, improve the logic for how sends are split between lines. This is really good. It's still not working perfectly, I don't believe, but in general, I'm glad that they're like having a crack at it and making it better because some of the send splits were pretty crazy. So this is good to see. I slowed down the map like game, yeah, who cares, whatever. 22, Creeps got increased attack speed and a bit more HP. This is good. 22 is seriously weak. I'd be surprised if this actually makes a difference because the big problem with 22 is basically like big like unit model collision size, slow movement speed. So they just walk really inefficiently. And, you know, they just get fucking focused down before they even get to attack. Plenty of them, so. I think that's the main weakness of the level, but it's not such a big deal. You know, they're nudging it in the right direction for sure, and it's not like we need every single level to be like a super viable send level. Can live without 22. Alright, Pirate Repick now works properly in debug, which is awesome because that made everything a bit slower for me previously, so that's good. Right, added a grid layout that you can toggle with the G, so you can literally just tap G on your keyboard, and they changed it up so it works on like other keyboards as well. Not sure exactly how, but anyway, it's nice to have. Make sure you always build in on the wall. You always want to build in one of like the full spots, unless you've got a great reason to build between the spots. So otherwise, you technically waste one spot at the back of the lane, but not a massive issue. Right, for the sends, assassin bonuses, static damage bonus scaling multiplier increased 0.4 to 0.6 per 100 lumber. So that's the percentage bonus stays the same, but you just get 0.2 more damage per 100 lumber you send of assassin units, which is cool. I think it's fine, sends get a tiny bit more damage. It's not really that relevant, but it's cool. Kobold, unit size increases when it steals damage. This is really nice. It basically makes the kobold like really fat if it's been smacking on a butcher for 5 minutes on level 7. It just makes it easier for KC. It's nice visually. I think it's a cool change. Now it steals damage from militia upgrades properly as well, which is, it's good. Behemoth, actually like a somewhat decent nerf. So now, it just attacks more slowly, which is mostly relevant on the king, so it's a bit of a nerf to 13, 14. Technically, it's a nerf to like other melee levels after that, but on like 15, 17, etc., you don't really care about Behemoth DPS. It's mostly 13, 14. So a little nerf to those levels, which I think is cool. Well, I mean, it's a nerf to the sends on those levels, but I guess it encourages you to do something maybe like 2 Behemoth Skargs, 3 Behemoth Skargs. That's something you can do a bit more of now. Right, mutant collision reduction and movement speed. It's nice. I still just don't see why you would ever send this over Blood Orc. Like, Blood Orc just does so much more damage. Alright, Murgle. Reduction aura range increased. Yep, cool. It's good. Helps Murgle out. Maybe you're a bit more inclined to send it on 7, just in general now. But, overall, it's just a buff. 170 reduction aura is pretty small, so I think this is a good change. Horse kicked off 15 HP. Yeah, sure. Horse is pretty good, so I think that's not a problem. Fire Overlord, easy to click, which is, that's good. Easier to click when you're KCing. That's it though. Oh, it's no. I actually got that wrong. Apologies. It's actually Firelord is harder to click, which means other things like Warlocks underneath Firelords are much easier to click. But in general, yeah, positive change. Positive change for game controlling against Firelord. Added Spell Immune tooltip as well. Like, yeah, sure, should have that. Blister, 10 more HP, 2 more damage. Doesn't do that much, to be honest. I believe that's... The way it's said here, it's just got a minimum damage increase. I don't know if it got like the minimum and maximum increase. I believe this is just a minimum damage increase though, which is it's not a lot. It's not a lot of love for Ballista. I think 12 will still be pretty weak. Ancient Tree now provides send bonus to all types instead of just tank. Still a tank, but it gives you like normal benefits for the tank, so normal HP benefits, and then 50% benefits for Ranger and Assassin. It's cool, doesn't really change much. Phoenix can now only respawn 3 times, so the invincible bird of bullshit has been strongly nerfed, which is really, really good. So now Phoenix is still useful as like a frontliner or a midline damage dealer in the later stages of the game, but it's not just like see Phoenix, build Phoenix, and have like fucking invulnerable resurrection army of Phoenixes, which is obviously great. Then a shorter invulnerability period on death, which is nice. Meridian, less range, more collision. Same thing for Dark Priest, like, that's good. Just makes them a bit weaker on masked. It's a really small nerf, honestly, but it's a good one, I think it helps. Right, Wendigo and Ancient Wendigo, target acquisition range down, which is actually good because it will not walk as far before it starts attacking, right? It'll start walking later, so it won't walk as far, which means you'll get less of the like wacky sort of aggro things going on, and it should be a little more sensible on range levels, level 8 specifically, and I suppose level 4 as well. This will basically help it be less Greymane-esque, but it already wasn't too bad because it's got 180 range unlike Greymane. Anyway, the ability Rampage after 5 attacks. The attack speed is increased by 120% for the next 5 attacks, but the attack damage is reduced by 30 for the small and 60 for the big. During this time, each attack heals 5% of the missing life. It's pretty nice. It helps it just be a frontliner. So, I think it's a nice change for Wendigo. I don't think it'll, like, suddenly be a good unit. But, you know, if you're feeling like Wendigo is correct, if you're looking, you know, Annie 12, Annie 14, Annie 18 even, you got Wendigo, you're going to think about it a lot more than you used to. So, it's a good change. Then the small Wendigo just got a 20 HP buff. 10 HP buff, pardon, which is nice. Ancient Wendigo got a bit more HP as well. And then a small attack speed nerf. This is not a big deal, this nerf. Considering the rest of the buffs it got, it's definitely overall like a pretty solid buff to the unit, so it's nice. I still think it's honestly kind of weak, but it is a nice thing for it. Right, Birdman, HP from 480 to 520, and the ability can now activate once every 1.1 seconds instead of once every 1.5. This makes Birdman a lot more legit. But once again, I still think it's got issues. Its ability is really random. Like, it'll just hit something that hit it. But it means, like, you're spreading AoE damage all over the shop. It's, like, very Violet-esque in that sense, which is not what you want. You want to actually kill creeps, because killing creeps reduces the damage that you're taking. Instead of like damaging all the creeps a bit and then not killing them. This is why Harpy is considered a really bad unit early, because that's what Harpy does. But yeah, I mean, you know, it is a buff, so if you are building Birdman, it's a lot less bad. Still an okay unit, level 5. I did like some Clockwork Birdman mix a little while ago. It was pretty bad. It was before this buff. Maybe I'll try that again if it seems correct. Yeah, see how we go. Priest, High Priest, and Medicine Man, they don't split on range waves anymore, which is really good. If you build a Priest on 3, you're not incredibly screwed on 4. On 12 and 16. But, you know, it's nice. Then 2 units, same type, lower HP, one gets healed. Good. Will only heal units missing enough HP to actually get 100% value out of the spell, which is sensible. Priest is honestly not so bad. If you've got a unit that will give you like longer fights, then it'll give you a decent amount of value, honestly, at this point. So, can definitely consider building Priest. Like if you've got something like Ig, for example, Ig in a lane takes a fairly long time to finish fighting, you're going to get a fair amount of value. But if you got something like Disciple, then the value of Priest goes down, because Disciple has fast fights, right? So, you know, just you think about that, because the spell obviously has a pretty low cooldown, so the more spell usages you're going to get, the more effective Priest is. and that's all it is to think about. But, you know, nice changes. Just not like massive buffs, but making an already like decent unit or usable unit just less clunky, which is good. Alright, True Pirate. Very small attack speed buff, very, very small. Damage reduced from 142 to 154 to 72 to 79. So literally damage nerfed by 50%. Which is crazy. But yeah, new ability, Dual Sabers, attacks 2 units with each attack. Throws just 1 unit in range, it takes both hits. Okay, so essentially damage is the same. Can consider it as a slight damage nerf if you're working with percentage-based auras like Captain, but that's not super relevant. But, you know, that is something to consider. Then slight attack speed buff. So basically like a very, very, very small DPS buff, but like very small. And then Ignited Saber bonus damage goes from 60 to 30. I don't see the point of this change, to be honest. Considering armor is percentage damage reduction and its ability reduces armor, I guess the 2 small attacks is like slightly better than 1 big attack. But honestly, I just don't see what this is meant to do. Like, it's a change, but it's not really a buff. Like, this is a buff. This is like this, then the damage reduction combined with the ability is like essentially the same. It makes it way better to build on levels where this new damage has a good increment. So I guess like level 3 one-shots. But if this is ever a 2-shot, then in 2 attacks it'll kill 2 creeps, but the old one would kill 2 creeps in 2 attacks anyway, so it's like kind of whatever. Makes it better in AoE setups. It's like, the thing is, it makes the unit, I guess, a little more flexible. But the thing about flexible units, like, in terms of this, is you build, like, if they're flexible, or if their flexibility is good, then it's good early in the game and becomes, like, completely irrelevant later on. And, like, you don't want to build True Pirate early in the game because the armor aura is much weaker when creeps have lower max HP, and it's just generally an expensive unit with not much HP for the cost. So, like, I guess thinking more about it makes it better with like Tox and Ghost and Ice Troll and like other AoE things where maybe this like double hit actually gets help on its increments, but in general, I think this change doesn't do anything. The unit's still really bad early on. It's like, it's almost, and in terms of the aura, it's like a similar reason as to why Captain isn't very good as an aura, because it runs in front and dies pretty quickly. This does the same thing, except it costs like nearly 3 times as much. So it's just a bit rough. I think this unit will be used exactly as much as it was used before, which is like not much. But you know, it's a thing you can do. Right, Night Saber isn't bugged with Dark Mage anymore, which is good. Panda will cast now instead of being stupid, which is good. Firelord Parasite isn't broken anymore. And Wyvern, the tooltip just got fixed up, so that's good. Anyway, we'll go through it really quickly for the TLDR at the end, so if you've stayed for this bit, you don't need to rewatch, but we'll do the TLDR at the end. Anyway, Send Splitting. Sends a split a lot better, not actually fixed yet, still janky, but they're working at it, which is good. Level 22, small buff HP and attack speed. Level 22, still not good. Grid with G, cool. Assassins, bit better scaling. Kobold gets fat. Behemoth, less attack speed, nerfed to 13 to 14. Doesn't matter after that. Mutant, buffed, still crap. Murgle reduction or ranged increased. Nice for Murgle, but you're still not going to send Murgle very often, and you'd probably only send it when you'd send it already. Horse, less HP. Still going to send it on 10 because it's a good mass unit. Helps you get just spend your lumber. Fire Overlord. Smaller hitbox on King makes it easier to hit Warlocks. Blister, more HP, more damage. Irrelevant. Ancient Tree. Irrelevant. Phoenix. Way less broken endgame. Really, really nice change. Meridian. Small nerf. Honestly, it's still really fucking good, but at least it's a little bit of a nerf. So that's good. I think this is like a healthy level nerf. Wondergoo. Got some HP and HP buffs and then heals during its ability. So definitely like tankiness buffs to Wondergoo, so not so bad. It's a lot more comparable to units of its ilk, like Blaster, but in my opinion it's still worse. Birdman, nice buffs, still Birdman. Still will be very niche at best, but it's a bit better now, so that's cool. Priest, less janky on range levels and uses a spell smarter. True Pirate, basically irrelevant, but it's better on level 3 and it's better in AoE setups, but it's like whatever, honestly. Then a few bug fixes at the end. So yeah, this is the patch review. Cheers very much for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all of that, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.